Good morning, medieval romantics. I just want to take a couple of minutes here and go through the Franklin's Tale handout that I used in class to illustrate how one might develop a lesson plan for the class that would be built around a number of specific passages. And obviously, I'm not going to have time to go through all of the passages today, but I just want to show you basically how it is that I tried to accomplish this. So obviously I have the name of the course and the name of the text here with a nice little image of the Franklin from the Ellesmere manuscript. Then I start off by talking about what the sources are. It's a free adaptation of a tale from Boccaccio. And then I talk a little bit about the genre. You know, it's purported to be a Breton lay, although it doesn't really have a lot of the attributes of the Breton lay. In any case, then I break it up and I talk about how in the first passage here it is identified as a Breton lay. The second passage, the Franklin talks about how he's not a very good storyteller, which is kind of a classic sort of a little generic riff that you would get from anyone who was, especially of the lower classes. Then the third passage here, beginning at line 729, is significant because it identifies the husband here as a courtly lover, which married love and romantic kind of courtly love are two different things in the romance. And so it's very interesting that that the husband is identified as a courtly lover here. And it actually brings up one of the key conflicts of the tale, because in the fourth passage here, the husband offers the submission of a courtly lover. So the courtly lover do whatever his lady likes, right? However, that's not how marriage is supposed to work. And so the fifth passage here, he points out that for the sake of propriety, they have to pretend that their marriage runs in a traditional way. And so again, as we've talked about many times, we have the conflict between the individual's desire for fulfillment and the kind of community obligations and expectations. Then passage 6 here is the reconciliation of courtly love and married life. So this really lays out this conflict in the romance. Now, the next passage is where Dorigen sees the terrible rocks off the coast of Brittany and wants them to be removed, which sets up the ability for kind of the plot device that'll happen. Then we have Aurelius as a courtly lover pining away in passage 8 for Dorigen. And Dorigen in passage 9 facetiously says that if in fact he does that, then Dana vol I loveu best of animan, which is line 997, which of course sets up the conflict, right? Because she says she'll do it, right? And then arising from his bed of love sickness at his brother's urging, Aurelius meets the magician who says he can do it. Then in passage 9, I have a long, Dorigen cites a long list of women who would rather die than be dishonored. In passage 12, Arviragus, he actually points out that from his perspective, the honor of keeping troth trumps that of marital fidelity. And again, it's this conflict we've seen again and again in the romance between community obligations and expectations and what the individual would themselves want. In passage 13, Arviragus underscores the fact that this is really the tension between illusion versus reality. You know, the rocks are removed supposedly, right? But also the illusion of honor rather than the reality of integrity. And then in passage 15, we have the magician hears about the sacrifice of the husband and of the lover, and then decides he's going to show how noble he is. And this brings up this whole gendered discussion of these men talking about honor, and the body of this poor woman is at stake here. So in any case, obviously I didn't spend much time going over this. We did this in class, but I'm just pointing out that that this handout could lead us through a class discussion where we hit some of the major points.